And now let's create some exceptions in order to resolve these problems. And I will create for that new package. And the name of the package will be exceptions. I will refresh it. And let's create new class. Data not validated exception. And it will extend runtime error exception. Runtime error exception. And let's add constructor. And let's add default serial version UID. And that will be good. And I will create one more exception class instance undefined exception, and it will also extend runtime error exception. We will do the same. We will add a constructor and serial version UID default. And that's fine for now. And now let's go to the category service implementation. And also in the category controller. In the function for store category, we have printed, if we have some validation errors, we have printed this message. I will just delete that. And we will create an error, but this is error, it's not errors for validation, from validation, Spring validation. It's Java lang error equals to new error, and we will just type data is not validated. And we will just throw data not validated exception. That's fine. And we will do the same in the update category function. We will delete this system out print line. And let's paste it. Ctrl Shift F, Ctrl S to save. And let's go to the category service implementation. And let's go first to this function, get category by ID. And we have category optional. And this is the case if category optional is present. But we will also create else condition For example, if we didn't found the category in the database, let's create new error. We will type the category is not found. And let's throw new. We will throw instance undefined exception which we have created. And also we will do the same here for the update category. Let me just copy this else statement and I will paste it here. And for delete category, we have this category ID. We will also create one. We will check the optional category entity if that category is existing before we try to delete category from the database, equals to category repository find by ID. And if category optional is present, in that case we will try to delete it. Now I will just cut these 2 lines of code and I will paste it inside this if condition, and else condition will be the same like in the previous 2 functions. I will just copy this else statement and I think that will be fine. Ctrl Shift F, Ctrl S to save. And now the application will restart because we have changed our code. Now let's go to the raster again. And let's go to the database. Now let's try with the same. Let's try the same to delete category with ID 728, and let's try. And now it is even worse. But let's see. As you can see here, we have instance undefined exception. This is the exception that we have thrown. And if we go here, we will see the problem. This is the error. The category is not found. That means that our exception is working, which is good. But the problem is our application is crashing, which is not good. But I want to see if these errors are working. And now let's see all categories. Okay, it's working. And now I will try to post category and with an empty name API categories, and let's try to store category. And let's send it, and again application has been crashed, but let's see in the database, do we have a new category with no name? We don't have it, which is good. But the bad thing is that our application crashed again. And let's see which error we have now. As you can see, here is the error: data is not validated. That means that our error is working fine, but the problem is our application is crashing. And also let's try categories, get category details, 50. Let's get, as you can see here, we have data not validated exception for the previous request. And again, we have now instance undefined because we don't have category with this ID. As you can see, the category is not found, but we shouldn't have these errors. And also the next one, let's try to update. Okay, number one. We have that category, but our name is empty. And this is bad request. It's not exception because we don't have a name. And if we type TV, it will work, but I will type 100. And again, we will have instance undefined exception. Our application is crashing, which is not good. The errors are working, but errors are crashing our application, which is not good. That means that we should handle those errors. And how we can do this? Let's try. In the controller, let's create new controller. It will not be product controller. We will create later. It will be error controller or errors controller, whatever you want. We will call it errors controller. And it requires one annotation: REST. It will not be REST controller, it will be a REST controller advice. And we will create, we were throwing these two exceptions, data not validated exception and instance undefined exception. Let's try to handle them. Let's create a method, public. It will be response entity string, and it will have one annotation, exception handler, and we need to specify which class will be. It will be data not validated exception.class, and the name of the function will be handle data not validated exception. and let's return response entity. And it will be internal server error, and in the body we will type the data is not validated. And let's create one more function for instance undefined. And it will also be public response entity string handle. The idea is to handle these exceptions. Handle instance undefined exception. And let's return response entity, internal server error, and let's type the text. The instance is undefined. And it will be, I forgot the body. Now it will be okay. Let's save it. And let's try again. Now we are waiting, our application should restart. But also we will not wait, I will just restart the application. And we will try a similar request again. Okay, our application has been restarted. Okay, and let's try the same request. As you can see, now we have the message, the instance is undefined, which is good. And let's look at the application. It's running normally without crashing, which is perfect. And let me check again. Okay, and now this category with ID 4 we could update it. And we can type laptop because I don't want to have a category with no name in the database. It should work. It should work normally. Now let's check. It's great. And if I type empty string, I think that I will have bad request, which is also I would like to have the data not validated, but it's okay for now. Let me try to post, and let's store category. we will see if it will pass. We have the data is not validated, which is good. The request was not success, but the point is we don't have now new category with no name. It will not pass, which is good. And now let's see category. $228, let's get. And the instance is undefined, which is perfect. And also let's try to delete category with that number. Of course we don't have category with this ID. Let's try to delete it, and of course the instance is undefined. And let's check our applications. Our application is working normally without crashing, and we have handled these two exceptions, which is perfectly fine. It works like a charm. We cannot add category with no name in the database, and also we cannot delete, update, or see the details of unexisting categories, and this is working perfectly fine. The next thing that we want to do, we need to create a product service, and also we need to create product controller and to see how it will work, but we will start doing it in the next tutorial.